We have 17 of us on our real estate team that moved to Hawaii, and somehow we all pulled it off. People move here all the time, but they also move away all the time. I've had hundreds of people move, get to know them, they spend a couple of years, and then they leave. So I thought it'd be good. There's a lot of videos out there that are like, 10 things to know, 20 things to know about Hawaii. Those are great. I thought it'd be good to just have a conversation with a bunch of people who moved to Hawaii, including myself. So 20 years ago now, with my young wife and little baby, and I made it. And you guys have all done it. You've made it. Different lengths of time, different things. So I just thought, let's talk about it. What we've learned, what's been hard, what's worked, what's really helped you to stay and make it and thrive. And also like what we've seen, because we have a lot of clients who come and then 2 years later, they're like, we gotta go, we're leaving, going back to Arizona or Arkansas or whatever. And so I think we have a pretty unique perspective on that, on who makes it and who doesn't and why and what's hard. So that's what I thought we would talk about today. Let's start with just really quick. What's your name? How long have you been here? When did you move to Hawaii?
I'm Jacqueline Ridgeau, everybody calls me Jax. And I moved here about 6 years ago. Husband's military, came from the Carolinas. Are we talking about team-wise, like coming on the team or just?
No, just for now. So you've been here 6 years. You're making it. Are you leaving anytime soon?
No.
It'd be good if you told me ahead of time. You afford it right now.
My husband might be, but then, I'll just...
All right. You have to tell him you have to stay. He can...
Very told.
All right. Andrea.
I'm Andrea. I've been in Hawaii since about 2022, so for about 3 years.
You're a newbie.
Yes, more or less.
Kind of. All right.
Straight up.
Yeah.
I came here for the surf, the outdoor lifestyle, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah. How old are you?
I am 32.
32. All right. Because you look 22, but you're 30. Okay. People at home were like, why do you bring...
Turning 33.
Turning, 32. All right. 3 years here.
29.
And how long in real estate now?
And I came here and I decided to move to Hawaii, start real estate, and live here for the rest of my life.
All right. You're making it. You're doing it. Made some money doing it. All right. You can just hold on to it. All right.
I'm Ryan Adams. I moved here January of 2020, right before the world shut down for COVID. PCS here, military from Guantanamo Bay, Cuba. And got here, went to Thailand, came back, and everybody was in lockdown. So decided from there I wanted to go to the military, stay here in Hawaii, and no plans to move as of right now, but picked up real estate about 3 years ago, almost 4 years ago now.
Yeah, so you're doing awesome. So wait, when I met you, you had only been in Hawaii like 2 years?
Yep.
Because we met in 22, right?
Yep.
And you started real estate with us. You had already been licensed, yeah. And it's doing awesome, so doing amazing. Okay, and?
My name is Taylor. I've been living here for going on 6 years now. I moved in 2021, or 5 years, sorry. And I came because my husband is from here. He grew up here. He's actually from American Samoa, but he grew up here his whole life. And he wanted to go to physical therapy school. And so we thought like the best way to do it would be to come here. And then a lot of life happened in a couple of years. But yeah, we love it here and we don't have any plans to leave either.
So when I met you, you were already married to Dave? No. You were...
I had my wedding.
You were dating or something when I met you?
I was engaged. I met you in the summer of 2021 and I got married in November.
Okay. Wow, I guess, yeah. I mean, it was COVID, so all my timelines are messed up. So we met in 2021 is what you're telling me? And were you in real estate in...
Idaho.
In Idaho before that, yeah. You were with a group or a team over there. Yeah. And you've done well?
Yes.
Living here, had a couple kids?
Yeah. Got married, had 2 kids.
Yeah.
3-4 years.
So when you marry someone who is local, he grew up here, he's Samoan. That's how you say it, by the way, Samoan. You don't say Samoan, right?
Right.
It's Samoan. And if you say it the wrong way, people know immediately that you're not from here. So
Unless of a
tip. Yeah, we'll get to that. But so now that you're married to a local guy, super nice guy, by the way, football player, but anyway, at UH, that's why I say that. Do you sort of feel like that has helped you a lot to fit in here? Does it make you feel like a local, or do you still feel like I just moved here?
I feel like a local when I'm with him. Like, I feel like people think it makes more sense that I'm here. But then when I'm not, which is a lot of the time because we live normal lives, like just together every day. I think it also made it feel a little bit more isolating because it was like, oh, I had this ticket, but when I didn't have my ticket with me, it felt like, oh, why am I here? But I think that also like really put me in a position, especially like what fast forwarded that was like getting married. So like planning a wedding, not only in COVID, but also just in a place that you've not been. Like you have to get out and meet and figure out what you're going to do. And then the second part of that is more crazy is when you have kids and you don't have your family next to you. It was really important to me to find community. And so that, along with like a lot of encouragement from you actually, to do things outside of my comfort zone, put me in places where I have like a really like big community, a lot of them in the same season of life as me and like with the babies. So that made a huge difference.
Okay, cool.
But I wouldn't say that like you have to be married to someone to move here.
No, so no. Yeah. And I'm married a girl she grew up in California and Montana, and she's as Caucasian as, you know, sometimes people ask for like, what type of Asian? I say, oh, she's Caucasian. But she's very white because some people think for some reason that maybe she has some Asian in her, which she doesn't at all. I mean, that would be like asking one of them that question. But yeah, but funny enough, like people ask me all the time if I am from here, usually because they know I'm not. Even though I look like I could be, you know, I think it's like 30% or something it's Japanese on the island and, you know, something pretty high. But they can tell as soon as I start talking, they're like, you're not from here. You're from California or somewhere. But actually, I was born in Japan. And I didn't even learn English till I was 5. So I'm pretty good now. I can order food and stuff. But funny enough, I spoke Japanese till I was 5. And then we didn't move here. 20 years ago, I moved here when I was 30. I think 31 is when I moved here with my haole wife or Caucasian wife. And so people can always tell I'm not from here. But at this point, it doesn't matter at all because I've been here so long. And my wife, there's a funny thing in Hawaii where you can be the whitest white woman and you can have the most Japanese name. And that's super common. And so like my wife, Barrett, who's, you know, looks like color-wise like them, her last name is Kawaguchi. And so that helps her quite a bit, you know. And so people would be like, oh, what kind of Japanese are you? And you're just like, no, my husband's Japanese. But it doesn't really matter at all. And it just kind of depends on what you're doing, who you're talking to. But, you know, the vast majority of the time, nobody really, they're just asking because they're interested. You know, I don't think she's once ran into anything like racism or whatever localism or ever. In 20 years, I don't think she's ever run into that. And she's, you know, very Montana girl. So Ray, sorry. This is Ray?
Yep.
How long you been here?
I've been here since 2014.
Okay. 11 years.
Yep, moved here from Washington, D.C., where I was licensed there. Just got my license here immediately. And moved here because my my wife at the time, her family's from here. She's Filipino, so
Yeah.
that whole culture of learning and being one small part of.
So Ray, you moved here 11 years ago.
Yep.
Your wife is Filipino. And if you're not like Hawaiian or Japanese, Filipinos are pretty good in Hawaii. It's a huge, huge Filipino culture here.
She's got about 45 cousins and 50 aunties and uncles for sure.
Standard.
Yeah.
Yep.
And big family. So we came for a honeymoon, and next thing you know, Dad's like, do you want to come and work for a company? And she said yes. So.
And so when you are with like your Filipino family, are you the only white guy?
No, there's 3 of us.
There's 3 of you. You guys band together. You're like, if anything happens,
Same thing in my motorcycle club. There's 3 white guys on.
3 white guy, everybody else is Filipino.
Correct.
Yeah. And so many of my good friends are Filipino, and it's very, very prominent here in Hawaii, and just part of living. It's kind of like when you're in California, especially where I grew up in Southern California, there's a lot of Mexicans that are my friends, and extended families. Like there's just Mexican people everywhere. And here we don't really have that. But Filipinos kind of like the second culture in Hawaii in a way. If you could say that. It's like there's kind of a local Japanese, Chinese culture. Then there's like a local Hawaiian and local Filipino that kind of blend in some ways. Yeah.
So I moved here without ever having visited Hawaii, and I knew there was a strong Asian culture. So I had spent a lot of time in Southeast Asia. And so I imagined it kind of like more like Southeast Asia, where there's like markets everywhere, kind of thing. Like you can eat food on the streets kind of thing. But then when I came here, I didn't realize it was the metropolitan like Honolulu area that it is. And there's like regular grocery stores and like super malls and like Ala Moana Mall. Like I never could have imagined that was here on Little Hawaii. Maybe it sounds silly, but I had no idea that it was. And the skyline as big as it is and buildings as big as they are here on Oahu.
So you moved to Hawaii without
ever having visited.
Did you watch YouTube videos?
Nothing.
Nothing?
I just knew that the water was warm and there was good surf, and I was like, yeah, let's go.
I feel like a lot of people are like that, actually, where they don't research or do anything coming here and they think that it's completely different. I would say the number one that still gets me to this day is if a passport's required.
Yeah.
So everyone will ask that. They'll say, they realize that, well, maybe they don't. They don't realize that Hawaii is actually part of the United States. So they just look at it as like, oh, yeah, the United States, and then they're coming to like Mexico.
Well, they
because it's so far removed.
Yeah, where a passport's required. So I don't really think that you're too far off, because there's a lot of people that I hear from that are like, yeah, too racy. But love it. I love your.
Couldn't even go to a restaurant. No, what?
I seriously did not look up one thing.
Crazy. All right. Well, now we know about you, or you're basically completely rebels.
It's something to remember. We're working on stuff. That's no funny. All right. So in your time here, I want us to kind of talk about what we have learned ourselves that has helped us to make it. Because so many people come and leave. They come 2 years later, they're like, I'm going back to Tennessee. Are you from Tennessee? Where's
True. No, originally California.
Carolinas?
Yeah, but coming from the Carolinas to here.
So Taylor touched on it a little bit. What has helped you to stay and not be like 1 foot out the door?
I think it's always really easy I still have all my family like in one consolidated place in Idaho. So it always seemed like, oh, it's really easy. Like, oh, I could go back. But then when I think about my life here and like the value, or just what my life looks like on a daily basis, living in Hawaii with little kids, that would be so different. Like the idea of like 1,000 layers of coats and winter and mud and snow, like not interested. Actually, the sand is the hardest thing about our lives here, and that's just sand. No big deal. But I think what really helped me stay, honestly, is the community. Getting plugged into like a good church made all the difference in the world. And that came from getting married here and like just really meeting a pastor to marry us. And then that happened. Getting plugged into a good gym. That's how I met Tony. And then like having kids and Tony pushing me to like lead the Moms group at church. That has like really changed my world. Like to be a person that somebody relies on without like really doing anything crazy for them. Like the biggest thing is like, oh, I make them dinner when they have a baby and you drop it off. Like how important that is to someone's world, and being able to grow in that and like build my community. I think that's been cool. And then like also just like there's a hidden community in being like a mom of little kids and just like being anywhere and like seeing them and be like, I got you. Like, don't worry, your kid can be a psycho. Mine will also be.
How many moms are in your mom? Is it Mox?
Momco.
Momco.
Oh yeah.
What many moms are?
We have around 35 moms now, going into our 2nd year. So it's been really cool to like meet all these women and different walks. There's a lot of military moms. So being able to like, I think that they come with the idea that they really are one foot out the door. And so still being willing to be their friend, because I think that's hard too when you like, sometimes local girls who know they're going to stay, that they're not interested in being your friend because they're like, oh, I can't be your friend because you're going to leave in 2 years kind of thing.
Yes.
How does it, oh, like, I'll be your friend for 2 years and then I'll have a friend in North Carolina, or I'll have a friend in New Jersey. I'll have friends anywhere. I don't care.
You might get burned out on that.
I'll look. But for now, it's fine.
Yeah.
But also I've learned, like, I'm not in leading 𝐸𝐸𝐾. I don't need to be everybody's best friend, but we can meet.
35 plus kids. If you got everyone together, you'd have 70 of you today.
Oh, no, the number of kids is astronomical. No, okay. It's like 3 times the amount of moms, the amount of children. It's like chaos.
And that has, by the way, you never told me like what happened after I told you to do it. Like we haven't really reconnected about that particular topic, but it's been good. And
yeah, 𝐸𝐸𝐾's awesome. I mean,
yeah, it's not an ad for 𝐸𝐸𝐾, but apparently it.
Join 𝐸𝐸𝐾. Call me.
𝐸𝐵EVA
Beach, Mililani, Waikele, basically anywhere.
You have a different.
We meet in Mililani now just because like, our church facilities required, because we have some people that we are meeting at a place where we have a big enough area. Anywhere on the west side, 𝐸𝐸𝐾 is where it's at.
So that's been huge. Thanks for telling us that. Yeah, that's cool. Okay. And I also met some clients there too, so.
Yeah, I've met clients there and like also just like meet random clients like at the park. I'm very nosy, no shame. If I look like crap and he's still singing at the park, just talk to me, it's fine.
Yeah, that's cool. Okay. Thank you for sharing. Yeah, my wife too. Right when we moved here, we got her in, we have one on the east side, Oahu side. It was called 4 days a week. She was in daily groups and mom and kid walking groups. And that was huge for her because I was like, trying to build my real estate business. And I had 1 or 2 friends here. So I was like, slightly more connected than she was. But yeah, the kid groups are huge. But what else? What other stuff you guys?
I'll go next.
Okay, right?
So for me, keeping me here is really just not wanting to move again. I moved 5 times over a 7-year period. I think that's the first thing that's kept me here.
Thank you for your service.
That's appreciate it. So that's the first thing that kept me here. But after that, I mean, I would say if I didn't love it here, I would have moved again anyway and just found somewhere else that I really liked and moved. But it's really like the nature and the outdoors, that in itself and the weather just being perfect, like Taylor said, and not having those snowy winters and everything. I still enjoy that. And people kind of ask me all the time, they're like, well, if you live in Hawaii, aren't you always on vacation? I'm like, no, it's a regular life. I mean, like, it's great. The weather's great, but just kind of redefines vacation for me, right? It's not like, going to paradise isn't vacation anymore because that's what I'm in and what I'm in now. So, what is vacation? Going to ski slopes, going to snowboard, whatever, figuring out something new, going to a big city somewhere else is kind of how that's been redefined. But I'd say those are the top 2 things for me.
You started surfing when you got, and then you've been scuba diving.
Yep.
Is that like a club?
There's a couple different things that I do. So every once in a while, I hadn't in a while, but I was doing cleanup diets with an organization around here called Nudie Wear. Actually, it's a sustainable clothing line. All their clothes are made with recyclable material. So, we do cleanup dives, pick up stuff out of the ocean.
What's the craziest thing you picked up out of the ocean?
Oh, gosh. There's been some crazy stuff. We get tires every time. Yeah, we get a tire just about every time.
Those are coming off the boats, bro.
Yeah.
There's one inappropriate tire only. Inappropriate stuff? A body?
Not quite a body, but
We don't need to cover the whole edge. Other stuff, we would have graced it. Safe for kids, only.
Or keep it PG.
Yeah, but like socially speak, that's kind of been the main, and it helps that you're succeeding at work.
Yeah, work is fun.
How's your boss? Is he a jerk?
Yeah, he's the worst. Worst bossing we're at. I almost quit 10 times this year.
Wow, dude. Make a note. Only that.
Almost twice a month.
Now we love having Ryan. We have a good time. You know what I love is though year-round golf. Yeah, I've always been a golfer and surfer, but I grew up where you could surf pretty much year-round, but it would get so cold, and then like I'm kind of soft. It would get cold, almost too cold to golf in California even. I had this funny thing that happened to me. My friend is from Chicago, and I think we visited Chicago. We like flew from Hawaii to Chicago to see LeBron play. This is like a long time ago when he was on the Caps. And he was playing in Chicago. So we flew to his house in Chicago, and it's so cold there. It's like freezing cold. And I'm like, man, I don't think I could live in a cold place again. And he looks at me, he goes, what cold place have you lived in? I said, I was thinking of Southern California. And he said, oh my gosh, what are you talking about? Getting to like 60. Like, no, got 50 once. But when you're
Saltwater.
right, when you live in Hawaii,
Everywhere is
anything under 70, everyone freaks out. People,
I'm cold now.
it is, when it gets to, it occasionally will be 68 in the winter. And every single person's social media post is like, why is it so cold? It's freezing. We're dying, and it's like every year they're shocked by it. But anyway, what I love is you can pretty much, anything you want to do outside, you can do all year.
Yeah. I like the biggest draw to me outside too is the hikes. And I think it's because, surfing's pretty niche, golf's pretty niche, but hikes, there's something for everybody too. So even socially kind of connecting in with the social circles, the community and everything. Whether you're with older people, younger people, people that really like to hike hardcore, people want to do it leisurely. There's literally something for everybody.
Are you in a club?
On some part, no, I'm not a hiking club, but
There are. I've seen a bunch of them. Yes, there's a ton. I think people use meetups.
Yep.
I don't know.
Yep, meetups got some, Facebook has some groups.
Ask AI, how do I find a hiking? I know there's like hiking running groups and stuff like that.
I think I'm on Facebook. There's one on Facebook that I haven't hiked with them in a while.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of Facebook groups, but kind of over Facebook. I still like going on there anymore. Yeah. So how about you two? What's helped you to stay?
So for me, I would definitely say it's a sense of community. I love living in Hawaii. And the main reason why I say that is because I think that most of us can all relate that we all came from somewhere else, right? And that's the majority of this island. So you connect with each other.
Is it a majority?
I feel like it is. I mean, I come across so many people that are transplants here, and maybe we just kind of all find each other. But when it comes to like,
It's actually a numerical majority.
But I think like where you live, that's for sure true. Like Eva beaches, probably.
sure, and maybe that,
Their edges, Arab and Eva and Waikikalu are.
yeah. So west side, I know, yeah, not so much. For the most part, you're coming across a lot of military, a lot of transplants, and we're without family, we're without our friends, and we're coming here and it's a new place. And there's so many people that are experiencing the same things that you are. So you're connecting with each other over that. And it's not, it's not even a religious aspect, but Hawaii is almost like a religion, right? Like when we first came here, just even be able to film this, the very first thing is I walked in here with shoes on. And Tony was like, why are your shoes on? And I was like, oh, it's a model home. I never take my shoes off. That's a religion here, right? I mean, we were just in California a couple of weeks ago, and everywhere we went, we were taking our shoes off. And people were like, why are you taking your shoes off? And I'm like, I don't know. It's just customary. It's gross. I don't want to wear my shoes inside. It's respect. I don't want to disrespect someone when I'm coming into their home. I don't know why I take my shoes off, but it feels really weird to be behind your own. Yeah, it feels illegal, right? It's just that sense of community. It's us all kind of coming in together, and that definitely keeps me here. Nowhere has ever felt anywhere that I've ever lived in. I've lived in multiple states before. I've built friendships in multiple states. I met my husband in a different state. We had kids in different states. This is Ohana. This is where I found all of my family. And no matter, there's a lot of people that I would probably say 50-50, right? There's 50% of the people that come here and they just cannot stand the island. They want out. They want, they get island fever. Everyone's rude. They hate the traffic. There's bad things about it. But then you've got that 50% that they move off island and they just couldn't imagine living anywhere else. And that's me. I just can't imagine having my community anywhere else. And that is probably what I would say the majority that keeps me here. I mean, obviously, yes, work is great. The money's good. Schools, your community, that's great. But it's just the people. I mean, locals, transplants, anybody that I come across, I've just had a positive outlook with them, and we're all here together.
I think people are nicer here than in a lot of other
I think
Not every
too. No, I agree.
general.
Whenever we go back to LA, I mean, it's within the first couple of days. We're like, why are people like this? I mean,
Well, it's chaos.
yeah, and we're in, Bay Area, and we pulled into a driveway once, and I guess this guy came with a bicycle, and he stopped his bike and spit on our car.
Wow.
And we're like, what is happening? No one would ever do that. Take us back. It's just, it's not having any aloha, right? You could be at the airport, and for us, we're like, oh, if someone's in a rush, please, by all means, go. That's not how a lot of people think. And we're just, we're spreading that aloha. We're having that respect for each other. And I agree. That's not everywhere else, and we see that. So when I come home, it's home, and I can't describe that feeling any more than I just did.
People in Hawaii let you merge on the freeway.
But no one throws a shaka.
Like-
I mean, that's another thing. You go in California and they cut you off, and you're like, oh,
No, it's worse. In California, they'll try not to let you in. They'll speed up and then stare you down so you can't get in. And in Hawaii, it's like, can I get in? And they're like, sure. Everybody's really nice. And it's not because they're soft at all. I mean, there's a lot of very, tough people, resilient, strong people who are kind for the most part. Unless, and this is the next thing I want to get into, unless you disrespect Hawaii or its people or anything.
Or the land.
Or the land. And I know there's going to be people who are going to be like, why do you sell real estate in Hawaii? Look, there's 5,000 or 6,000 people selling real estate in Hawaii. We're just trying to help those people who are going to come. They're going to come and they're going to buy and sell real estate. And the fact of the matter is, at least Ewa Beach, Kapolei, Makilo, Hawaii Kaikailua, Diamond Head, North Shore, pretty much the edges of the island, even like Laie, it's a lot of transplants. It's a lot. The center, less so. For good or bad, whatever, that's not a comment on any of it. It's just that is the fact. That's the fact. And so there's a lot of things I think that would help people. If I knew beforehand it would be good, it would have helped me acclimate faster, offend less people, make more friends in general. And so I want to talk about maybe things that you learned maybe about the culture or living here, for instance, taking care of the land or whatever. One, I will say this is, as a Japanese guy coming into a culture that's halfway to Japan, in a way, it is sort of halfway a Japanese culture or Asian culture. There's a lot of Japanese, Chinese, Korean, a lot of Koreans lately, Filipino and Thai, lots of Asians in Hawaii, and that it impacts the culture a lot. And I think I learned early on, you really have to respect that part of the culture and be aware of it. And like you say, a really simple, stupid thing is we don't wear our shoes in the house in Hawaii because we don't do it in Japan. I think maybe that's where it came from. I think the science backs it, by the way. Everybody's shoes are filthy with bacteria. But regardless of that, there's a lot of things like that are just that's the culture. This is what you do. And, for one, in Hawaii, if you invite a local Hawaiian person to your house, 90% of the time, they're going to bring you something. They're going to bring you I stopped and bought you koi donuts, or I stopped at the bakery and got you this, or I just brought you this, whatever. I made some fish and brought it for you. And that's I think it's from Japan, because in Japan that's very common. It might be China too. I think they do that too. I know Koreans do it somewhat. But if I invite a local person over, they're going to bring something most of the time. And if I don't, they're not going to say anything. Okay, here's the thing. Asian people are almost never going to tell you when they're offended. You'll find out much, much later, somehow. Maybe they just don't call you back. Maybe you'll hear it third or fourth hand. They're not going to tell you when they're offended. Especially Japanese will just never. They'll just bear it and make. They take a note, though. They'll never forget. But I forget they're offended, but they're not. It's not like you're from New Jersey.
Yeah.
In New Jersey, you probably hear about the offense right away. Right? They'll just tell you right to your face, like, hey, don't do that. Right. Jack, if you walk into a Japanese person's house and wear your shoes or don't bring something or you just do something else, they're not going to say it to you. They're going to go like this.
I feel like I've got this look from Tony before. How many times have I been disappointing Tony?
You want
In the facial expressions, they're like,
if they have like a very gentle suggestion, oh, would you like to do this? That's the Asian way of saying you must do that or we're going to be very offended. Would you prefer to, do this with your shoes, kids, dog, hat, coat, whatever, And if you're like, no, they'll just go.
I have one that is very, like, what was new to me, marrying into someone family, but also just like coming here, is anytime that you show up at someone's house, you greet every person in that house with a kiss on the cheek.
Yeah.
That was like very different for me.
Kisses,
Like a cheek touch.
Cheek kiss.
But yes, that was new to me. Like coming from North Idaho, you don't touch other people's faces.
Especially the elders.
Yeah, especially the elders.
Or parent, family, whoever the owners.
And if you're there before them, you stand up.
Yes.
And you greet them.
Everyone greets each other.
Yeah.
That's kind of I think that's Hawaiian culture.
Hawaiian, Polynesian. Yeah.
Yeah. And the Polynesian culture, I just love it. It's really family centered. Like, uber. Wherever you're from in America, you think you're like, oh, it's very family friendly. The Polynesian culture's got you 10 times over. They just like respect your elders, respect the parents. Yeah, it's really.
When we talk about that, they are all of our family. So that's another thing. Your elders are all your aunties, your uncles, your cousins. So just out of a respect, that's another thing, is we'll go to a restaurant somewhere else and I'll say, oh, say thank you to auntie. And everyone is family, right? We're all ohana, but not somewhere else. So that just goes back to that sense of kinda, where yes, they are going to be your auntie, so give them respect. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter if you met them the very first time and they're your server recipes, they're your auntie.
Yeah, well, that's interesting because I've gotten used to it now. So I have teenage kids. When their friends from the mainland come and visit, they're always like, hello, Mr. Kawaguchi. And I'm looking at her like, who's that? Was my dad here? What are you talking? But because here, all the kids are like, Uncle Tony. I'm Uncle Tony. No matter, even if I've never met them in my life.
Right.
They'll paddle up to me in the water and be like, hey, Uncle, to ask me a question. And I'm like looking around sometimes like, is there an old man? Oh, no, I'm Uncle. Yeah, but it's Uncle and Auntie.
And no one prepares you for the first time you're called Auntie when you're like, wait, you're like only a couple years younger than me. Excuse me.
Oh, you can be 23 or 4 and be Uncle or Auntie to like an 8-year-old.
An 8-year-old for sure, but like it's when you're like, it's like a 20-year-old and I'm 24. Just kidding, but I'm 32. But that first time, like where it's not that big of an age gap and they're like, thank you, Auntie. I'm like,
We should ask somebody to publish a guide. Like, what is the age gap when it's appropriate to call you auntie or uncle? Because, yeah, I've gotten it from people and I look at them like, we're not that different in age. But okay.
Dave was very sad the first time it happened to him, like jumping off China walls. And like these kids were like, oh, you go, Uncle. He's like,
oh, yeah. Well, he's a dad. I mean, if you're a dad, you're.
Yeah, for sure. But I think I might have been pregnant. So he was still not ready. But.
Yeah.
But the other funny thing is how quickly your kids adapt to that. Like calling everybody auntie, uncle. Like in the store, Dax can see anybody and be like, thank you, Auntie. I'm like, got it.
Yes.
My son moved here when he was 1. So anytime we go somewhere else, especially this last time we went on vacation, that was another big thing that we had to try to explain to him in the car. We're like, oh, we're going to go see Uncle so-and-so. And he's like, so is this my uncle or is it my uncle? So that's what he says all the time because everyone is uncle. Everyone's auntie, right? But we're trying to explain to him that there are blood cousins and then there's just your next door neighbor who's a cousin. And then there's your uncle at the bar sometimes. But then there's the other uncle that's your dad's brother. And I'm like, it doesn't matter. It's just all auntie and uncle.
Although if you say it with the O sound auntie, then they're going to know you're originally not from here. Because the people who grew up here say auntie. But that's also like, that's another thing, is there's little pronunciation differences in Hawaii that if you say them wrong, it's a dead giveaway that you did not grow up here. This is a little bit different one, but I've actually had trouble with this. So in Hawaii, people say shoots. At the end of a conversation, they go shoots. And it really means like, all right. Like, all right, we're done. Sort of, it doesn't really even have a meaning. It's just like at the end of my conversation, I'm like, be like, okay, shoots, Ryan. And it's like, all right, goodbye. It's kind of more like, if anything, it's like goodbye or okay. But if you say like shoots to somebody on the mainland, what they mean is, oh, we can't do that. So I've heard of situations, and I've had them myself, where I say like, oh, shoots, Ryan. And then Ryan walks away like, oh, so we're not doing what we said we were going to do?
That's not actually me.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm just using it as yabambo, but yeah. So people will say, oh, shoots, right. And it's like, goodbye or good to see you. Like, we're done talking. Yeah. But there's a bunch of little words, I think a good tip is, when you come to Hawaii, don't try to bring your culture and impose it on us. And I say us, I've been here 20 years. I'm not even Hawaiian. I'm not local. I'm not nothing. I'm just a transplant. Some people would say a 𝐾𝐭, which is like Japanese, but empty-headed, but not from here. And so I'm fine.
But going off of that, I also think it's like important to, like, if you're coming in and you're new, to like sort of observe before you like fully embrace it and like go hard on like the shaka or like,
Yes.
because some people go in and it's like, wow, you've been here 5 days and like,
And it'll be like full blown.
yeah.
Okay, so I just remember I was at church one time, and this lady, I was sitting next to my friend Dana, who is actually Hawaiian, Dana Lau. She's an agent with us as well. She was sitting behind me, she's Hawaiian. And there was this a Hale lady, Caucasian lady, who moved here from I think the East Coast or something, 6 months or whatever. And the transplant lady said to me and Dana, she's like, yeah, Hawaiian now, and I'm doing this and that. And I just said, well, hold on. You'll never be Hawaiian. Just as if I moved to Mexico, I would never be Mexican. I'm always going to be an American in Mexico, or a Japanese guy in Mexico. And I said to her, Hawaiian it's in your blood. It's a nationality. It's a heritage. It's not, you can't become Hawaiian any more than you can become Japanese. If you move to Japan, you don't go, I'm Japanese now. You go, I live in Japan, if you're an American. And that's something to your point. You can come and you can begin to learn the culture and embrace it as we all want to. And it's a continual, like for the rest of my life, I'll be more and more learning and embracing the culture. There's still things that, always going to be foreign to me. But you never actually are like, I'm Hawaiian. Just as you wouldn't move to Mexico and just be like, yeah, I'm Mexican now. That'd be so stupid. You would never say that. I think when you first move here, the first couple of years, yeah, you're just observing. You don't know what you don't know, right? You don't know that you're offending people by whatever you're doing. I see it in the ocean all the time. See, people come from the mainland and they're surfing and they want to, just take every way. It's like, yeah, we don't do that here. We take turns. The most respected surfer, usually the oldest, but often it's just the most respected surfers go first. That's just kind of the way it is, which means I'm like kind of in the bottom middle as far as pecking order in most surf spots. But people, you can take that analogy in everywhere, and you just have to learn your place. I think sometimes people move to Hawaii and it's like they're here to bring whatever they're bringing. And for the most part, people are very kind and receptive, but they don't really want to be dominated by whatever someone's bringing in. And I guess I've taken that on too, because if someone's like, yeah, bro, I have this, let's say company, I have this new company and I'm going to bring this new service to Hawaii and we're going to just sell it to everyone and dominate the island with this business. I'm immediately like, yeah, that's not for us thing. Even if it might be a good product or company, like, yeah, we're not interested in that.
And I've turned away clients. People are like, we're going to buy this, multi-million-dollar house, and then we're going to do this and spread it everywhere, whatever this business is that they're bringing. I was just like, yeah, I'm not your guy. That's not for me. I'm not here to help anyone dominate the island. So I think that's one thing I've learned. What else should people think about when they're moving here culturally? What could be offensive or hurt their chances of fitting in or staying?
Not messing with the wildlife.
Not messing with the wildlife.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Touching the turtles.
Don't
Yeah.
touch the turtles.
Exactly. Everything in the wildlife. Whatever tourist attractions there are, everybody's going to indulge in them when they first get here, right? Even if you've moved here for the first time. But, a buddy of mine, he's a captain on a manta ray dive. And he's always like, people are trying to ride the manta rays. Like, no, don't do that. Don't grab the turtles. Don't mess with the monk seals, right? Don't try to play with the sharks.
One lady got bit by a monk seal.
Yep.
There were these girls that got bit at, in Olina, a little girl got bit by a turtle because she was swimming right on top of it, and the turtle came up for air. First thing he saw was her little,
I blame the parents, but there was a lady who swam up to the monk seal and got bit pretty gnarly.
Yeah, and I think that the biggest point to remember is just that, this is their home just as much as it is for humans, right? You don't really have the sea light morse in a lot of other places, but, when you come here, CYC is really sacred to everybody that's originally from here. So, making sure that you respect all of the nature and wildlife is huge. Don't mess with the sea life. Don't litter. Just be generally respectful. I think a lot of it just goes back to that point of being respectful, right?
Well, that's a great point, because I think you can go anywhere in Hawaii if you're respectful to the people and the land.
Yeah.
You can go in. It's not, there's some parts of California that I'm afraid to go in. Literally, I'm like, I don't even want to roll down my windows. It's so sketchy. But we don't really have that. If you're respectful, you can go anywhere. I know all races, including Caucasians, live in every single area. If they're kind and respectful and they're not trying to impose their way, their culture, it's kind of like, tell me if you agree with this, it's a little bit like moving to a foreign country when you're from, let's say, the Midwest.
100%. It's a culture shock.
going on vacation to Cabo all the time. We'd go to Mexico, but I was now in hindsight, that was such a sheltered vacation. We would go to these resorts. So when Dave was like, I'm gonna bring you to Hawaii, I really thought the whole island was gonna be this big resort, and that's just not reality. There are people really doing life here, and the reality of Hawaii also is that it's expensive to live here. It's not always not every corner is this beautifully manicured resort. It's there's a lot of stuff happening here, and so when you see that, it can be a lot of culture shock. And I think figuring out how to get in and get around, and it's all so different. Even just driving's different. Houses are different. Everything's.
We have to talk a lot about realistic expectations in our jobs. Coming here on vacation and staying in Waikiki, right there on the strip with all the resorts, so many times, even showing West Side or going out to Hawaii Kai or, going to Kailua, North Shore, anywhere else, they're like, wow, it looks so different from when I vacationed here 3 years ago. This island's our home. And just going back to, the respect of animals and people, I get it. You're here on vacation. You left your heart here on island when you vacationed here, and you couldn't imagine living anywhere else. That's how we all were. We couldn't imagine living anywhere else, but we make this our home. But there are a lot of, downsides. We work. This is our livelihood, right? Real estate. And we're not always out surfing like Tony does, like he did today. But yeah, we have our childcare, we have our jobs, we have traffic. It's expensive. We have our realistic expectations coming here, and you by all means for that first week have your rose-colored glasses on, but just know what you're getting into. And I love that all of us here on the team are very good at doing that. We're not going to sell you a dream. We're going to see if it fits for you to make it your dream, right?
Yeah, that's another thing as far as I think it's an extension of moving here and wanting to be part of the culture and everything. Another thing here is like everybody does work really hard. I think everybody I meet works really hard to maintain and sustain like a good life here, and we all kind of have that with each other, and we all kind of create the environment that the island is. And so that's just an extension of it. Like if you want to come here, you want to be just part of the island. It's like it's its own organism almost, I would say. Yeah.
Well,
Nature, people, everything included. Go ahead.
to that point, I think if people work hard, they also have lower expectations on some material things like houses.
Yeah.
So like in Texas, where I visited, and Arkansas, because I visited a lot of states. The houses are so big, and they're so new, and they're nice, and they're $400,000 or $500,000. And so a lot of people will call us and be like, yeah, I want 3,000 feet on an acre, and I want 3-car garage, and it should be 5 years new, older.
It's got to be on the water too. It has to be
I'd
oceanfront.
like to spend $1 million. And I'm like, so for $1 million, I can get you a 100-year-old house on 5,000 feet that needs renovation in, if it's in a good area, a really good area. Or you can buy in 𝐬𝐫𝐞𝐿 for $1 million. You can buy some pretty nice and new, but it's not going to be on the beach. There's more traffic on this side. It's actually beautiful over here. Every time I come over to 𝐬𝐫𝐞𝐿 in Makilo, my wife's like, can we live over here? It's so nice and new. Food, but, we're all established over there. And but yeah, people's expectations. I think one thing is back to your point, when you live in an area where you can't go out a lot, you want a 3,000, 4,000 per house because you're in a lot. And in Hawaii, like if it's a weekend or a holiday, people just take their pop-up tent, they'll go to the beach, and they'll sit there for 9 hours. And no, it's just tents everywhere on the beach, and they're not homeless. Some of them are, but they're just hanging out at the beach because you can, in the middle of winter even.
But even not just the weekend culture, but like I think here in Hawaii, it's easier to not be living for the weekend. Like you can get off work, and like how many times a week my husband gets off at 5 and we meet him at the pool, and you spend 5 to 8 swimming, or we have dinner on the beach just because like we can be outside, and that is. We're able to do that all year round. Whereas like back in Idaho, it's dark at 4. Like before you would even leave work, it'd be dark.
Wow, dark at 4.
It's the darkest place ever.
Is it like by the North Pole or so? Oh, it's almost like that's like in Alaska.
It was like an hour from the Canadian border, but
yeah. So because of being outdoors a lot, and it's expensive, people tend to have smaller homes compared to like the same size family and income, let's say even in California. Even though our property prices are not that different than California, our income tax, our property tax is much lower than there. Property tax here is like the lowest in the country. But people will tend to have an older home, unless they're 𝐬𝐫𝐞𝐿. Most of the island is older homes, usually smaller lots. Unless you're spending 3, 4, 5 million, which some people do. There's plenty of that. But for like an average family, you might have to spend $1.5 million to have half the house that you had in Texas.
It's a very humbling experience.
Yeah, I would think. Yeah. I came from California where it was pretty expensive already. But like, some neighborhoods you need 1.5 to have a decent house. It's not that great at 1.5. In 𝐬𝐫𝐞𝐿, like we're right now, by the way, shout out to D.R. Horton. We're in one of their model homes that they're selling. You can buy a nice new 2,000-foot house for under $1 million still, or right around $1 million, I think. This one's like 700. And thank you, D.R. Horton, for letting us film here. But because of that, I think the vast majority of people who transplant to Oahu anyway will pick 𝐬𝐫𝐞𝐿. They can have a home almost as big, maybe new, almost as nice, maybe as nice, and it's only double their house in Texas and not
5 times. Like a lot of these homes at EVA, if you moved the 1.5 homes in EVA, they'd be 3 to 4 million on the site in Kanoa or wherever, Diamond Head. So sometimes we get those calls and there's like a 30-minute conversation about reality. All right, I hear your dream. Amazing. I would love to help you achieve it. Hundreds of people move to Hawaii every single day, literally every day. A lot of them are military. We love our military clients, and they use their housing allowance. It's amazing. You guys have all dealt with military. Lots of me probably 100 military families in the last 10 years, and you guys a dozen a year at least. So let's talk to our military, our PCS clients. They're coming from wherever. If they rent or live on base, why? Let's talk about the office. Let's start with Brian because he's our better at camp.
Before that, I want to hop back to something on culture that I didn't get to say.
Okay.
So, all right, I had a thought on culture, and basically it's the thought is that you move to Hawaii, you can't say you're Hawaiian. You move to Japan, you can't say you're Japanese. You move to China, you can't say you're Chinese. You move to Canada, you can't say you're Canadian. Anybody can move to America and say they're American, right? They can get their, citizenship. They can be American at that point, right? And the thought that comes to mind for me, and it all wraps together, is that America is the melting pot, right? There's so many different cultures in America that when you leave the mainland to come to somewhere like Hawaii, you have to remember that you're not in mainland America anymore. You don't have the same melting pot of cultures, and you really, that respect is really what kind of changes, and you have to remember coming from the mainland. So I think most people coming from anywhere else, they're generally more respectful of different cultures, versus America is just, again, it's the melting pot, everything. So that was a thought that I had.
Okay. And I'm a legal immigrant. I became an American citizen about 10 years ago. Used to be Japanese, still Japanese by blood. All right, so let's talk real quick about about our military clients. We have a lot of military clients that are moving from Pennsylvania, wherever, some base. They're coming here. They're going to have a $3,000 to $5,000 housing allowance, and we desperately don't want them to throw. So let's talk about that. Talking to our military clients, what would you say to them? You're watching from Virginia right now. What's your word to them? And everybody, I want you to chime in on it.
My first thought is consider investing in real estate here. It's not something that is for everybody because military tours are unpredictable. Sometimes they end at 1 year. Sometimes you have to leave after a year because your orders are a little bit different, or emergencies happen, or you retire. But sometimes they're 3 years, sometimes they're 4 years. But if nothing else, just consider buying a home out here. It's a great place. When I first moved here, I was considering buying a house when I first got here. I did end up buying a house, but the guy that was in charge of me, it's funny, he was a Yale graduate, had all these degrees on his wall behind him. And I told him, I was like, hey, I'm looking at buying a house. What do you think? Mililani versus ATH or Kapolei. He's like, oh, don't buy a house. We're in a housing bubble. Well, that was January of 2020. I bought the house anyway. As you can imagine, in a pretty good situation.
He probably missed out on 100, 200,000 of gains of whatever people.
Probably more than that. He was there a year or two before me, so yeah.
Okay.
I think that's the biggest thing. It's just missed opportunity. It doesn't happen for everyone. So me being a military spouse myself, we have so many different options. We can rent off base, we can rent on base, which it's not for free. You're not getting housing for free. You are renting housing on base, right? But there are so many different opportunities that you can have to invest your BAH, and it doesn't happen for everybody. Not everyone can do it. We definitely wouldn't tell those people that are coming on TDY for 6 months, or you're just coming here unaccompanied for a year and you have to leave again. It might not be a good situation for you, but just entertaining it, period, is so much better than when I've spoken, plenty of times to military families that they're PCSing here, they have a sponsor, and the very first thing that they're told is go sign a lease on base. There are no other options. Lots of the times I'll talk to, active duty military, they didn't even know that they could invest their BAH. They don't even realize that government money that they're given, they are able to do whatever they want with. They think that they have to just move on base, sign a 1-year lease, and that's the only option that they get. Just having that education, moving to a different state. Everyone does it, right? Every military family does it. Military spouses, we have our binders full of things. We have to look for jobs. We have to find the vet. We have to find, healthcare. We've got to figure out, how we're going to be moving. Do the same thing when it comes to PCSing on island. It's, again, not for everyone, but just try to explore your options to be able to invest and potentially make some money. It doesn't necessarily mean that you might make money in 2 years, but it may be in 4 years. It may be in 5 years versus just moving from duty station to duty station and staying on base and you have nothing to show for it.
Do you think that people who have been in other duty stations or stationed wherever, do you think in those markets they buy a house and expect to make 100,000, 200,000 like people do here? Is that common?
No.
I don't think so at all, actually.
I bought my first house in North Carolina when I was at Fort Bragg, and really I didn't know. I just listened to some guy that was older than me, a major, that gave me advice in the patrol days, and he was like, hey, use your VA loan wherever you go. It's like, all right, I'm gonna use my VA loan wherever I go. So I did it, didn't really know much about it. I knew it was gonna be stable, but that's about it. I knew I didn't have to come in with any money down. So I knew the very basic stuff about the VA loan.
That guy helped you make a lot of money without knowing. Yeah.
Did you make any money off of your first house?
Yeah, actually I sold that. I held it as a rental for about 2 years, and I made about $50,000 on it. And that was, I sold it at the beginning of COVID. Had I held it a little bit longer, that would have been triple.
I mean, for better or worse, the government is giving its families in the military $4,000 to $5,000 a month for housing here. Which if you rent, oh my gosh, it's like,
It's got to be throwing away money if you rent.
150,000, 200,000 that they just give to a landlord to rent for 3 years sometimes. What's like the longest and you can be stationed here?
I've been here 6 years.
It depends. Yeah, it depends if you get new order, right?
You buy your house.
Yeah, of course.
Buy your house.
So 6 years. What's worse is when the family, they were here maybe 10, 15 years ago and they are coming back for the second time and they didn't buy the first time, or they did buy and they sold that house. And then did they get? I could get in my time machine and go back. I'd find a way to cover the difference. In that education is we're such a unique spot where people will want to spend the rest of their life here. So they get the taste of it, and who knows what the future has, but if they get to come back and have the ability to have equity in a home, or have equity like the client that I'm in escrow with right now, Coast Guard, they were both here 10 years ago. And
how much were hosts 10 years ago? Let's see.
They would have bought that home 10 years ago.
Half was hash.
They wouldn't have been issued. They would have a ton of equity. They could probably take cash for the house that they're buying now.
These would have been like 700 instead of 1.4 or something like that. Oh, I know where you're talking about. Yeah. So it would have been 800 instead of 1.
They bought it on Kailua at the time.
Yeah.
They would have been sitting on million.
I think it's hard for people who move to Kauai from not a major metro market, not LA, San Francisco, San Diego, New York,
Rhode Island. I mean, that's it.
Yeah. I think it's hard for them to even grasp the value of real estate in not just our market, but even in like a major market. Even like my wife's from Montana. Homes in Bozeman are over $1 million easy. But if you're from 50 miles outside of Bozeman, you can still buy a house for $300,000. It's hard to grasp that, I'm going to go to Hawaii and, if I don't buy, the home's going to go up $500,000 in the next 5 years. And it almost certainly will.
The Texas military folks that come from Texas and have the expectation of $300,000 home can give me a huge house here in Hawaii. And then they find about maintenance fees.
Yeah. Hilo is a good, for about 500, you can buy a pretty decent house in Hilo still, but it's a very, very different place and much more remote and slower. And it's great if you want to live kind of what you imagine in your mind Hawaii might be like. Tropical forests, with not much around. That's kind of Hilo. The old Hawaii is kind of Hilo. But a lot of people will move there and move away 2 or 3 years later. Because it's like so slow. It's so old Hawaii. Which, You either love that or you can't deal with it. We've had a lot of people leave just the state. They just come. You know, haven't you like met someone and they're like, oh, I just came to Hawaii and I'm trying it out. And my response is like, bro, there we go. I don't know. That's not, you're not going to last. You have to kind of like go all in. For sure.
With these military families, though, I mean, we will say, let's say on average, right, 2 to 3 years, 4 years. I mean, my situation of 6 years is not very common, right? But the biggest thing that you'd probably have to think about is Hawaii going to be your forever home? I mean, I'll say, at least with my clients, at least 70% of them, it's not going to be their forever home. They're going to move somewhere else. This is just going to be a duty station for a couple of years. So when they're coming from places like Texas and they're like, oh, I have a 6-bedroom home, it's 4,000 square feet, I want something with wainscoting and real hardwood floors. I want that too for my forever home. But let's have a little bit more of a humbling experience and let's get you investing here on the island, right? So it's just you two, or let's say, you have a 6-month-old. You don't need a 5-bedroom home. You don't need that $2.1 million home in Kailua. You can, by all means, look at a 2-bedroom townhome, a 3-bedroom condo. You don't necessarily need a yard. Okay, you've got 1 car. We don't need a 3-bay garage. Just coming here and using your BAH. I definitely want like epoxy floors, sure, but this is not going to be my forever home. Just to be able to have you come here, use your BAH, invest, try to make some money off of it. Is it going to be in a year? I don't know. Is it going to be in 4 years? I don't know, but we can try to set you up to be able to reach your goals. But the walk-in closets, that's, something that I get all the time. You've got people that come here and they're like, oh my gosh, the closets are so small. And you're like, but we just wear slippers and shorts all year round. We don't. Your snow coats. Yeah, exactly. What are you put all your winter gear? We don't have that here. You don't need, his and her walk-in closets. You don't, need all the extra guest space. You don't need, the biggest thing is, I get that you want it. You don't necessarily need it. Let's at least get you investing with your BAH and get you some options. But it's a very humbling experience moving here. You don't necessarily need everything that you think that you do.
You can get a pretty nice house in Kapolei and Ewa, or your husband knows.
Sure.
So I think the biggest thing that I like to drive home with every military buyer, whether you want everything or you're good with just investing in something, is to think about the exit strategy because you're on the timeline. You know that you're going to leave in 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, whatever your tour is. You have to think about what the exit strategy is.
What does it look like?
Yeah, exactly. So, if you're stuck on buying most expensive house on the most expensive street in a neighborhood that's not really super popular, a lot of people do that because they see all the stuff that they want. Well, now you're going to set yourself up for failure when you leave because nobody wants to pay top dollar in the worst neighborhood, right? Now, that being said, if you start looking at new construction, that's a great way to start with investments, right? The neighborhood we're in now, it's, they almost always sell under market value so the developer can get them off their hands. So that's one good way to go. Or a home that, especially in this market, needs a little bit of work. If you've got the time and effort and, the minds to actually do some renovations, you can build the equity into that home and you're going to sell for a profit most likely later on if you're buying in a good high demand area. But that's really putting your trust in somebody, understanding, hey, what are the good areas? Where should I be buying? Where is the demand at?
Yeah, that's why you have to have like a really good expert agent in Hawaii. By the way, to that point again, if anybody had bought one new construction home maybe every 5 years for the last 20 years, you would have made multiple millions of dollars by now. If you had just, bought one new construction in 2005, 2010, 2015, 2020, you just bought it and you rented it, you maybe lived in it, maybe you rented it, you would have probably $2 million in equity that you made just by buying new construction.
It's a nice savings account.
Yeah, so, just please don't throw away $200,000 in housing allowance or more. I've seen people rent here for 5-6 years. It's like, oh, we didn't think we'd stay. Oh, so painful.
I've met a sergeant major before that was in for 20 years. Never lived off base. That's 20 years of using his BAH to rent on base.
Yeah. And in different bases, and even if he was never in Hawaii, even if he was always in Virginia or something, he probably missed out on $2 million in real estate gains. So that's not even just a Hawaii thing. That's so sad. Yeah, and on the other hand, I've had people who bought, they just were like, what can our housing allowance before? They bought whatever it could afford, and then they maybe got extended, maybe not, but 3 or 4 years later, they get a check for $400,000 or $500,000 tax free. It's crazy. I look at it since I've been like, dang, this is crazy. A lot of people will leave. They'll come, maybe they're working, or just they're like trying it out, and then they'll leave after 2 years. 2 years is kind of the magic number. I've seen so many people do that. I think part of it is they were never committed in the first weeks. If they show up and they're like, we're trying it, well, you're going to leave. I guarantee it. You're just not going to. So what do you guys think? What do you think on that?
Because that's just, again, the circling back to the mentality of like, I'm here to like be entertaining or take, essentially, rather than like coming to give and be part of. And that's why I guess it doesn't click. I can imagine. That's all I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
You have to be invested in building a community and like doing whatever it takes to have that, because like it or not, like you're a 6-hour claim ride probably at minimum to like anything that you're comfortable with. So you need to be able to figure out how to build that community for yourself here, and whatever it takes, like really go in on that. And it's not hard. Like there's so many things to love here. Like if you love surfing, join a surfing group. If you love it, join a group. Like if you don't want to eat sushi on the Saturday, I bet you can find a group for that. Like it's all you have to do, but you have to be committed to doing that. If you're going to come here, like Andrea said, and look for somebody to entertain you or just have people show you things and give you things, like Hawaii is not a museum. Like it's a place where you have to go and like really find all the good pieces. And it's not like nothing here, like really, like if you went into Chinatown, for example, like there's like a million amazing restaurants in Chinatown, but if you drove through, you would find zero, because like you have to know, you have to look, you have to figure it out. And there's a lot of like resources to find that, but if you don't care to look for it, you're not going to find it.
And people will tell me they're leaving because it's expensive. And my response is like, yeah, but a lot of people are staying even though it's expensive. So ultimately, it's not just that it's expensive. It's that you want something other than what you have here at Hawaii. And I think that the people who stay, grow up here, my kids were born here, 4 kids. You're born and raised here and you love it. There isn't an expense that's not worth it. That makes sense. It's like, oh, things take longer to ship here. People get to live. Or it's, you have to pay more for whatever, We have Costco, so we don't get a lot more for stuff like that.
They would bring you Trader Joe's, so that's good. Are there really?
You really like Trader Joe's now?
No way.
See, when you live on an island, Trader Joe's is like really exciting.
No, it's the best.
But I also think that plays into like the Ohana side of it, right? Like if I live in a smaller house, but like I'm spending every day with my kids and we're doing all these things, or like my kids are in the house or if they have friends, everybody's together all the time. Like that seems like a really good payoff for not having a 5,000 square foot home with everybody in their own rooms and nobody's talking. Yeah, I'd rather just be a part of it and be a part of everything than have the fanciest bed.
Yes. I'm embarrassed to tell people on the mainland how much my house is in Kauai, because for the amount that it is, wherever they live, like that'd be like a mansion. And my thought is, I don't want to live in a mansion where you live, right? Like my house is 80 years old. That's really common here, by the way. In Hawaii, a lot of homes are super old, which is why new construction is so cool. Because I come over to look at the new construction. I'm like, wow, look at that. Because in my old brick house, part of it's brick, there's the little where the electrical goes. It's like a conduit valve channel. But I mean, I just don't want to leave. I don't want to leave that. I just love the people and the culture and the island, you know, everything about it. I think just really early on, you have to decide, like, am I going to just love it? Have I decided I love it? And I'm going to love the culture and be respectful to people. You know, I'll run into what you might think would be like the meanest local bras with, you know, tip, like your husband. But the moment you show them respect and you're kind to them, they're nice to the most be so nice. They just don't. People don't want to be dominated. There's a background tension in Hawaii that all Hawaii local people have. Maybe not all, but to a degree, people have that America took over, you know, basically took over Hawaii. I'm not going to get into the politics of that or anything. That is a very long discussion that you can search on YouTube. But because there's that sort of background, you know, in people's minds, they don't want that attitude to also come from people who move here. Like, you know, you're America now. Okay. That hurts a little bit. And by the way, I love America. You know, for all its faults, I love America and I'm an American citizen now. But Hawaii was a nation. It was a people group before it was, you know, in the 50s, it was Japanese, Chinese, Korean, Filipino, local Hawaiians. Very, very few outsiders beyond that. People from the mainland is what I mean. But if you just love it and you're respectful and kind and gracious and you don't try to impose your culture on it, you know, I've found that people are very generous and kind. We've had, you know, a lot of haole people, Caucasian people, marry local people, work in all kinds of, well, we had a haole governor. I had a couple haole governors. That part I don't understand, but somehow we've had 3 or 4 haole governors. But yeah, you just have to decide, like, I'm all in. I love it. This is my new home. And I'm going to adapt, not I'm going to force my will. No. Because you're almost in a different country, so that was my point. You're halfway to Japan, halfway to China, halfway to Korea, so culturally, and you're in Pacific Islands, so you have to love it. Last thing before we wrap up this maybe video that's a little too long. No, it's good. No, it's good. Okay, sure. It'll be about an hour-ish. Okay, that's good. Good, cool. All right, and it's all a really good conversation. Awesome. Good. So, last thing is, as people who are watching this are probably sitting in mainland America. Most likely, if they made it this far, amazing. Thank you very much for watching. The last thing I want to talk about is they're watching us and they're like, oh man, I want to root to Hawaii. And maybe they're thinking about, you know, real estate, maybe, hopefully. You guys have worked with people who've done it, succeeded. You've all done it. People are moving, they're buying real estate, they're settling in culturally, and they're not leaving, right? What's like for you the main thing? What is the one or two things that you would say to someone out there watching? Go, you should do it. This is why you should do it. So we've talked about kind of a lot of difficulties.
If you love to play golf, you should definitely do it because there's 28 different golf courses on this app. Isn't 28 at least? Okay.
Including the military ones?
Thought there was a lot more.
I made my bucket list to play them all when I first got here. No good. So you got probably played 20. Yes. Yeah. Golf. Yes. Golf is amazing.
You were going to say one recommendation. And if it was that, I would say if you have pets that you want to bring to the island, definitely do the research on that first.
You gotta get the rabies shots. Yeah. You can pick up your dog right at the airport now.
And you don't want to buy a dog here.
It's make sure the right thing. Yeah. My dog was very expensive. I hope he lives 100 years. tip. Okay. What even was my question? Oh, why should they do it? Or you can change stuff if you don't like shit.
If you don't like putting layers on your kids every day, meant to what?
I don't even know what that's like.
So I will say, the first time I came here to Hawaii, I like cried on a plane going home. I was like so depressed because Idaho is dark from like October to June, and it's rainy. I've always been nervous. It is nice. It's summers in Idaho, can't beat them, but winter in Idaho, great. And so coming here is the most amazing vacation of my life. I was like, oh my gosh, I can't imagine not living here. And it actually was my idea for us to move back here, not Joyce, even though it's like his family, his island.
So were you and Dave were living in Idaho?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, for 5 years before he came here. But so what I would say to that is like going back home to like think about how gray it was, and like I was just so sad. But now, like winter is a cute vacation. Like what are we gonna buy that's fluffy and fun for 2 weeks almost?
Mm-hmm. And so layering kits is
well, like think about because you're not supposed to put your kid in like a car seat with a coat on. So you put it on to take them outside, then you have to take it off to put them in that car seat, and then you have to put it back on to put them.
Milk coat for the cars.
Yeah, it's like not safe. Because then it's too puffy when you're trying to like put the seatbelts and stuff on.
Okay.
I don't know. But there's like a lot of things. I mean, just like snow boots and jeans, and like it's hard enough to like get my kids to not be naked. Now that they lived here for about many years. Like.
Okay. All right. Okay. Why? Give me a reason why people should do it, or Ray pointed out maybe a tip. One good tip for people who are gonna. Either one or both.
My recommendation would be why you should do it. If you like the outdoors, outdoors is the best tip.
Some people would say like Colorado, Oregon.
That's okay. They're good season. I mean, there's great things to do everywhere, but here you've got mountains. You can see snow in the winter.
We've got the winters and for stuff.
Yeah, I liked it here. I'll take it. Warm up weather year round.
Funny enough, there's quite a few people from New Jersey here.
Yeah. Yep. I bump into them all the time.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Hey, what else?
Why do
You don't have to come on today.
Go ahead.
If you have something.
I mean, I guess I'll go back to, everyone's going to say weather, but I guess if you hate views, don't move here. Everywhere we're driving, even when we're stuck in H1 traffic, right? There's just, you can, especially driving out to Waianae or you're going out to the west side, it's just to the left, it's just ocean. So you just can't be mad like driving up there. You just play some reggae, have the window down. It's going to be, it's chill music, 83 degrees. It's just, it's beautiful.
Wow.
That's the reason why most people move here, right? They move here because it's paradise, and there's some ups and downs to that. But it truly is just driving throughout the island, places you go to eat. Just watching the sunset sometimes. You could be in the back of your truck on the beach, roasting hot dogs out of a grill or something. We've done that before.
And people, by the way, there's guys like local Hawaiian guys who they kind of have it figured out. They just sit at the beach and cook their whatever
We actually said that to one of our family. We had a barbecue the last time I was with my family, and we asked everybody, we're like, oh, hey, who has a portable grill? And someone brought one of those huge black stone griddle grills in the back of a truck. And we're like, no, just the little pop-up grills that you take to the beach. And then I'm like, I'm in Sacramento, California. We're all just so used to everyone having these pop-up grills that you just throw in the back of the car and you just have a quick dinner and you've got a bottle of wine or something. You just eat out on the beach. That's not normal. That's not common. And I love that. Outside of Hawaii, it's super common here that you just have your you have 3 different portable grills and you just take it anywhere with you and you have a quick meal. And the sunset's right there. You could just be right there on the beach barefoot and have some hot dogs, And I love that. The views are impeccable, and you can't ever just be in a bad mood because of that.
All right, you guys. Thank you.
You need a realtor, Vivian.